All right, one thing I want to talk about is how do you know if you're given the radius or the diameter? Okay. If it's words, sometimes it'll just say this is the radius or this is the diameter. Sometimes it will say the distance across. Sometimes it will say something about the distance from the middle or from the center. If you have a picture, a diameter will measure from one end to the other end through the middle. So if there's about a midpoint, that's a diameter. You might also see it measured like down below from edge to edge, and they'll give you a number there. That's a diameter. The radius is always going to be halfway across. In drafting, and no other math teacher or 7th graders probably will ever even mention this, but in drafting, sometimes when they have a circle that's on a picture of something they're going to build, sometimes what they'll do is they'll have an arrow that's pointing at it like that, and they'll have a measurement 0.3 inches or whatever, and that means radius. You will not probably see this until you get to engineering school, so yeah. I mentioned it because it's something that I think of every time I think about measuring radii. Sometimes you might have a circle that is on a grid, and it has the grid lines, or like the X and the Y axis, and maybe all these grid lines, and this is really poorly drawn, but if I were looking at this and I had this label 1, 2, 3 somehow, and this is going to keep going, I would say, okay, from here 0, this is 1, 2, the center point is over by 2, so my radius on this one is 2. Or you could say, oh, if it goes 1, 2, 3, there's a 4, the diameter is 4 all the way across it. So if it's sitting on a coordinate plane, you can probably figure out from an edge point to the middle fairly easily, or from edge to edge if you know it goes through the center. All right, there's a problem. I'm trying to think of another problem. You might see something like this where you have, there's one problem that's got, I don't know if it's on the first page or if it's on the page I gave to someone else, has one like this, and it has a hole cut in it, and it gives you that diameter as well. It tells you both those measurements, and it asks for the area. And so you have to take this diameter and put it in half to find the area of the entire thing. And then for the cutout, you have to take that and turn it into a radius, take half of it to find what you're going to take away to make just this disc. There's one where I think they have, again, 2 concentric circles, 2 circles, one inside the other that are both centered in the same spot, and they tell you what this radius is, and then they tell you what the distance here is, and you have to add them together to get the entire radius from the center outwards. I don't remember which problem that is. I don't know the numbers on it. There's a problem that has a tablecloth, and it tells you the radius of the table and how they want it to hang 5 inches down, so you have to add that plus the 5 inches to get the radius of the tablecloth that you're going to have. That is a bad table drawing. There's another one. I'm trying to think of the other drawings I've seen. Oh well. But that's kind of what you need to do. You need to sort of understand, is this line going all the way across, or is it going only halfway across the circle? If it's all the way across, you've got yourself a diameter. If you're looking for a circumference, you can just use that number. If you're looking for an area, you're going to have to turn it into a radius. And I'll tell you one more particular problem in just a minute.